Hey guys, hope everybody's doing okay. I want to talk to you guys about gifts today, about the gifts that God gives us. And I just want to let you know that each one of us has a gift, and I'm about to read you a Bible verse. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I actually grew up in a church. I'm not going to tell you what religion, because I don't even believe in religion anymore, and I don't feel like we should look at religion and men's laws. We should look at the Bible and God's laws. So, I'm not going to tell you what religion because I'm not dogging on anybody's beliefs or whatever. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing in the Bible and what the Holy Spirit is bringing to me to tell you today. And so it's in 1 Corinthians 12:6. And there are diversities in operations, but in the same God which worketh in all. But in the manifestation of the Spirit is given every man to profit withal. For one is given the gift by the Spirit, the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another divers in tongues, and the other interpretations of tongues. So what are these things? These are the things that the Lord gives us to use to help other people down here on earth. We're given these gifts so we can help whoever it is He's guiding us to help that day. What if there's a guy walking down the street and you see him, he's looking pretty down, and maybe the Lord gives you a word, hey, speak this to him. And you speak those simple little words to him that could just make his day turn all, or you could change his life forever. And you don't even know that you're doing it sometimes because you're just doing what God has asked you to do by obedience. And sometimes we don't understand how important it is to be obedient to God. And it's not even for our own advantage. It's not because He's going to reward us with this or that. The reward is that you're helping somebody else. And if you have in your mind that you want a reward for the things that you're doing, or you think that you're going to get into heaven for the things that you're doing, you're wrong. God gives us grace for free. And whatever we do down here on earth, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does, because God's going to look at you in the end, when you go up and meet with Him, you're going to be judged, fairly for the things that you do that are good, for the things that you did that was bad, because He's certainly going to look at those things. And He's also going to look at the fact of, when I told you to do this, why did you not do it? Because you could have saved a life that day, but you didn't because you were afraid. Now, when you walk in God's Spirit and you walk in God's will, there is no fear. Why is there no fear? Because you have God on your side and you're not afraid. And the reason you're not afraid, and you walk with Him, and that you would even sacrifice your own life for Him, is because when you leave this earth, you know 100% where you're going. You're going to heaven with the Lord if you walk with Him in obedience. But that's the thing, we have to do what He asks us to do. He gives us these gifts for a reason, not because He just wants to give them to us and He wants us to misuse them. Let me go prophesy in every single person in the world's life. That's not what God asks you to do. Don't misuse the gifts that He gives you. And if there's a point in time that He says, don't do anything, you need to step back and be obedient to Him, because there's a reason He's telling you not to do it, or there's a reason He's telling you to do it. You just have to learn to listen to the right voice, because He speaks to you in a still small voice, and He's never of anxiety, and He never causes fear or any of that good stuff. A lot of people listen to the wrong voice because they have a voice of confusion inside of them. And that's okay. That's something that we have to understand, and we have to focus on, and we have to learn to listen to just God's voice, not the devil, not, the voice of confusion or whatever, and He'll give you the strength to understand. And, if you hear the Father's voice, it is so soft and it is so comforting that it even make a grown man cry because of the comfort that he brings to you through his words, whether it's words for you or somebody else. But these gifts that he gives us, he's given them to us because we work for him here. We are his servants. And just like Jesus said, I'm just a servant, just like you. Don't treat me any different than you treat each other. Love one another. He washed a man's feet because he wanted to show that he is a servant too for God. And he wanted us to see that, because we're a servant of God, doesn't make us better than anybody. We're supposed to humble ourselves inside. And we're supposed to serve one another. And we're supposed to love one another. Now, does that always mean, okay, every time? Nowadays, a lot of people misuse the Bible and they use the verses against Christians. Oh, you're supposed to do this because you're a Christian. But if God guides you not to do those things, then you better listen to God, because he's the one that is all-knowing, and he knows why he doesn't want you to help them. You may not understand, or they might not understand at that moment in time. But, later maybe it'll come to you, maybe it won't, but he's the unknown, and that's the thing, is we have to understand that we just have to trust him. It doesn't matter what he tells us to do. You have to learn to trust him. He knows everything about everybody, and he's telling you to either walk in obedience with him. He wants you to walk in obedience with him, but it comes with trust, and it comes with submittance. You have to submit your life to God. You cannot just sit here and just not give away the parts of you don't want to give away. You can't hold on to the parts of you don't want to change. You can't do that. Your unforgiveness, your hate, your anger, whatever the case may be. I mean, everybody's different. We all have our struggles, I'm not judging nobody's struggle. Whatever your struggle is yours. Mine is mine. We're all human, and we all have struggles, and God knows that. But we have to be able to try to submit that part of us that we struggle with. And we have to give it fully to him. So, I would like to guide everybody today to try to submit to God today. Maybe give away your insecurities of what your girlfriend or your boyfriend's doing, or maybe that job that you've been questioning for so long. Why don't you give that job to God and say, hey, here it is, God. You do with it what you will. Let me walk in your will, not my will, God. You have called me out of the darkness. You have asked me to come to you and do what you have asked me to do. Each person's will is different, so nobody's going to have the same will. I'm telling you that straight up. A lot of people come to me and they're like, we all have the same will because we all work for the same God. No, we don't have the same will. We all have different wills. And the reason I'm saying that is because the belief is, yes, all of us want to bring people to Jesus, but we don't all walk the same path, because if we did, then, what would we be doing? Just keep repeating the same thing over and over. God has designed a path specifically for you, for me, for all of us. We all have our own path. We just have to learn to listen. I love y'all. I hope this helps somebody. Sorry I was so windy. I hope y'all have a blessed day.